What would it be like to be a sales strategist and coach? If you've ever had any interest in the world of sales, you owe it to yourself to lean into this episode. And it comes by way of this fantastic guest. His name is Simon Severino, and he's a top voice within the world of sales. He's a Forbes contributor, a LinkedIn top voice, and he's also a TEDx speaker on the topic. And he's here to break down his role, what he does within the world of sales. Plus, he also drops in plenty of insights and tips on succeeding within that sphere. As always, I do encourage you to check out the full-length audio version. There's a lot more contained within that as opposed to these short YouTube videos. But I do think it is time to get into things, so why don't we? All right, well, first up, I'd like to give Simon the opportunity to explain a little bit more about who he is and what he does. So here's a clip of just that.
Yeah, I'm a sales coach. I get sales recordings. I get sales questions. Teams ask us to have a sprint coach. A sprint coach is somebody that I'm training to use the strategy sprints method in a cycle of 90 days. So we immerse ourselves for 90 days into those teams and help them fill pipeline and close the right clients.
Now, to set the stage, one of the things that became very apparent early on in our conversation is that Simon has this distinct vision of what sales is and what it isn't. And I thought it would be useful to kind of look at it through that prism before we get started, before we get too deep into this conversation. So again, here's a clip of Simon breaking that down for us.
Old sales was about selling. Modern sales is about buying, helping people make good buying decisions. Yeah. We are all buyers. I buy stuff, you buy stuff. We need help. Yeah. When we buy something that's more expensive than $10,000, we need help from a salesperson. Why? Because I'm not doing this every day. I'm not buying a car every day. I have no clue about cars. Mm-hmm. No clue. I'm not into the cars business. I need something to ship 3 kids around. So I like some colors of cars, and that's it. That's all my knowledge about cars. Red is better than blue. Yeah. That's it. So now I need somebody to help me take a good decision. 3 kids, tax efficiency, how long does it last? All this kind of stuff, right? Right. And they are the expert. So if they are an expert, I want to talk to somebody who can help me buy, who can help me take the best decision. And maybe the best decision is that person telling me, hey, you should go Uber because you are below 12,000 kilometers or below 12,000 miles per year. So it's cheaper to just take a cab all the time. Yeah. So help me buy. That is my definition of sales. And this is what's broken in sales nowadays.
Now, if you're interested in sales coaching and strategizing, probably makes some sense to dive into that world a little bit more deeply. So I did select a clip here in which Simon's breaking down what he does, what he's involved in within his business when it comes to those points. So listen in.
So the right clients, it starts right there. If I ask you who's your right client, most people here will answer in a fuzzy way. They will talk for 3 minutes and then you don't know who the ideal client is. Mm-hmm. So first exercise that we do is defining ICP and anti-ICP, 5 levels deep. So ICP, your ideal client profile, is a person who has these characteristics in that region. They have these dreams, they have these fears, and are frustrated with this thing right now. Mm-hmm. 5 levels. Now we have an ICP. For each level, also the opposite. So, okay, they are a CEO. So anti-ICP is the HR executive. You will not talk to HR executives if your ideal client is the CEO. Mm-hmm. Because what happens now is that people still, during the week, spend time talking to the wrong people. Yeah. And this is easy to change. So that's the first focus. Who are you here to serve and what do you help them achieve? And then really simplify, strip away from the week. We use a tool called the Daily Flow. People can download it later. I can share where they can download it, where you map your week and you see, okay, this is how I'm spending my time. And then you can double check, am I spending it on the things that matter?
Mm-hmm.
And when you identify that, you can get rid of the rest. Delegate, cut, outsource the rest.
Now, on the heels of that last clip, here's another one that you're often going to hear about in terms of sales success and finding it. It's all about systems. What kind of systems are you following? So again, here's a clip of Simon breaking down his. And one thing I do want you to key in on, it's not just about the professional. He's also addressing the personal side of things as well. So anyway, have a listen.
So these are my 6 daily habits for the people watching this. They see my phone and they see there are 6 buttons on my phone. That's my daily habit. I click it. It's a non-negotiable sales activity. I have to do it. So one is make introductions. If I made at least 3 introductions today to people who should get to know each other, because what they are searching for and what the superpowers of the other are, they fit together.
Yeah.
So if I did it 3 times, then I click it, I made the introductions. Did I ask for referrals? Past clients, current clients, potential clients. Did I ask for referrals? Hey, you know what I'm doing right now? Who needs this? Yep. Can you introduce me? Did I create content and share content on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on X? Click. And did I follow up in the CRM system? So did I call past clients, current clients, potential clients today? And then the other 2 are around workouts, endurance workout and strength workout. Why? Because I'm 44, I need to stay fit. But also, if you come low energy to a sales conversation, people don't want to buy from low energy people. People want to buy from happy people. So people who are centered and are, thriving in their body, in their emotions. So these are 6 daily habits. And that is one of the 274 systems of the strategy sprints method. We call it the daily habit. There's the weekly habit, the monthly habit. But as an example, if you have now 10 people, 3 of them are doing this every day. 7 don't have a system, a daily system. And now I ask you, in 3 years, who will be successful in sales? What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. There's a certain dedication that is connected to what systems means and what it represents, right? And what you were speaking about earlier, it's something that can kind of guide you through obviously the high times, but certainly the low times. And then like that's the time that you really want to be able to, to keep afloat essentially, right? Yeah. Okay.
That's why systems matter, especially in bad times, in tough times.
Now, in hosting Life As and speaking with professionals and entrepreneurs, well over 100 at this point, I do tend to pick up on trends and patterns of people that are finding success. In the conversation with Simon here, something I did notice was his natural curiosity towards the profession, towards life as a whole, and also this obsession with learning. Now, this isn't necessarily related to sales in terms of like a hard skill, but most definitely, these are things that are playing a big part in him finding success. So here's a clip of Simon kind of breaking that down for us, and I do want you to listen in on this because I think it's invaluable insights and advice.
And I had studied psychology, so I had tools. I just didn't know that there is this specific thing, buyer psychology. So I started studying this buyer thing. What is buying? How do we buy? How do my friends buy? What do I buy? Why I don't buy? And so I became obsessed with this topic, and I realized that I had a tremendous toolbox from Sigmund Freud to the newest modern cognitive guys. There was a plethora of practice and knowledge and wisdom between the lines of all of these. Carl Gustav Jung, everybody had so much wisdom. And I had all these breadcrumbs and these tools. And so I applied them to the go-to-market topics. And I realized, hey, 90% of sales is psychology.
Yeah.
Reviewing those sales calls, I was seeing the body language and when they disconnect and how the temperature between them is. That's psychology. And then how you enter a market is mainly marketing, how it's the story and how you position that story. That's again psychology.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, I do want to squeeze in one last clip here, and this one's relating to technology and sales. And if either of those two things are of interest to you, you definitely want to listen in on this one. Here, Simon breaks down what he's seeing, what he's experiencing, and what he's integrating right now. And he does manage to bring in this metaphor of Iron Man. You know, the film franchise, Iron Man? Yeah, it all makes sense when you check out the clip. So anyway, have a listen.
And as we started this conversation, I did pick up on something when you were speaking about, when you're selling to somebody and you're actually using AI and you can see in real time, like the amount of talk time that, that you have versus the amount of time that you're listening. Now, that tool sounds incredibly helpful. And I guess that's a modern usage of an emerging technology such as AI. But maybe you could share with listeners, a few more tools or different things that you're finding, helpful to you in your efforts or your organization's efforts.
Yeah. My benchmark is Jarvis and Iron Man. Iron Man is in action, needs to do stuff, doesn't have time, to sit down, read a book.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, they say, Jarvis, what should I do? And Jarvis is there in real time. Oh, give me a second. I'm going to analyze this. Oh, do this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what entrepreneurs need. They need things that work in real time without stopping them from the action they are involved in.
Yeah.
So what we are looking for, and if they're out there, we use them. If they're not out there, we build them, are all these little things that can help an entrepreneur take decisions in real time. Yeah. So for example, when we coach them, they don't have to log in anywhere. It's on their phone. It's on their phone. They tag, hey, sprint coach, should I do this or that? And they get immediate response. And the sprint coach is saying, okay, make a screenshot of the emails that you're sending. And then they get a screenshot and they say, oh, change the subject line. It has 6 words. 6 words is too much. You want 3 words. Try these 3 words. You have 3 call to actions down there. You want 1 call to action. Try this. Then they send the email. Half an hour later, they can already, on their phone, see if the email worked or not and review.
Yeah.
So this is what we're looking for. Everything that helps be in real time instead of adding friction. It's just integrating into their life seamlessly. Those are the things that we use, and they're changing every couple of weeks.
Okay, well, it's probably about time to wrap up this video, but as always, I do encourage you to check out the full-length audio version. There, we get into several more topics. Simon shares some advice in terms of what to do when you're struggling. He also shares, how to make it more interesting and more exciting, this notion of gamifying the experience, plus a lot more. So again, you can find this episode wherever you access your podcast. Just do that search for Life as a ... And lastly, while I do have your attention, I would love that like or subscribe. It's the best way to let this algorithm know that the content does matter. Anyhow, I will have a new profession covered coming at you right next week, so don't miss it. All right, we'll see you then.